Hello, everybody. Welcome to the night crew. Good to have you with us again tonight. We got a great show lined up and a great bunch of guests all here. We got Lamar Callahan back, Apostle Tamala Lucas, Angela Thomas Smith, Michael Lee Landingham, and Bob Gonzalez. So, welcome you all. Glad to see you here. I know none of you's been watching football. Okay, are we ready to get started?
Yes.
Let's see what's going on. Okay, the first one, Ukrainian forces are now on the defensive. As the Biden administration is backing the Israeli genocide of the Palestinians in Gaza and preparing for a much wider war in the Middle East, the Ukrainian government's much publicized 4-month-long counteroffensive has effectively ended with minimal gains in territory. Ukrainian forces are now on the defensive against advancing Russian forces in eastern Ukraine. Despite the counteroffensive's obvious failure, both the Zelensky government and the Biden administration have signaled they will continue the war with the proposal of sending a massive $100 billion in military aid to Ukraine. Unfortunately for both the United States and the corrupt right-wing oligarchic Zelensky regime, Ukrainians are not so eager to die in a fratricidal war for minimal exchanges of land. Yeah, for the past few months, all we've heard is about how Zelensky has got his people on the offense, and they're doing all this in Russia, taking out this and making all these gains. And now it turns out that they didn't really have much gain at all. And now they're just trying to hold their own. And we keep sending them billions and billions of dollars, and we're going to send them 100 billion more, it looks like. So that's not good, folks. Not good. So what do you think about that? What do you think, Bob?
I think we ought to leave Ukraine alone, and if we leave them alone, I don't think Russia really wants to take them over. I think it's been portrayed that way, but I think Ukraine is a hotbed of corruption, and we shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Michael?
Well, I think it's been almost 2 years for the war in Ukraine that started under Russian aggression. Almost 2 years, right? So, throughout those 2 years, there should have been a peaceful solution with America taking the lead to negotiate a truce to figure out exactly what Putin wants. Putin mainly didn't want Ukraine to join NATO. He didn't want NATO at his doorstep. Just like we as Americans wouldn't want Russia at our doorstep or China. But the old heads, the old way of thinking, the old leadership is still living back like it's in the 60s or the 70s or the 50s. Russia has changed. And throughout the time of this war, we as Americans or our leadership should have stepped up and found a peaceful solution to say that, okay, you don't want Ukraine to be part of NATO, no problem. Putin said it was okay for NATO to join the European Union, no problem. But I think it was just a misjudgment about the facts overall and the decision that need to be made from our government in order to avoid this war to start from the beginning. Because he amassed his forces, Russia amassed his forces right at the border to warn us, hey, if you don't agree to us, we're going to go in there. Now, what was going on with in Israel and whatnot, a lot of Americans do not realize the real truth of what's going on there in Israel. It's never the people. It's not the fault of the Israeli people, of the Palestinian people, of the war that's taking place. It's the leaderships from our leadership to Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas that wouldn't find a peaceful solution, more so on our side than Hamas's side. Now, I want to make sure I make myself clear. The actions that happened on October 7th should never have happened. And the full might and force of the Israeli government and army, it seems like, is blaming all of Palestine, all the Palestinians. And the bombing that's taking place is not something I don't think we should help Israel to find the ones who are responsible and hold them to account. But to carpet bomb innocent civilians because of some old way of thinking will no longer tolerated. Now that's why we need fresh new leadership here in America that can understand the time of what the problems that we face here now, instead of using the same old ideas to think you'll get a different result, because it hasn't changed back then. It damn sure ain't gonna change now. And what they're doing now is to forcibly remove these people out of Gaza and try to take Gaza over. Now, don't get me wrong, they said they don't want to. But after seeing the evidence and everything that's been coming out, especially about the bombing of the hospital, that was a JDAM bomb that hit that hospital. It wasn't some kind of weird, like one of the Hamas rockets. And we saw it hit, but it didn't have the velocity from what they're saying about that rocket to say that it wasn't Israel. But we have been lied to. And we have to really tell the real truth to bring real peace in the Middle East with the Palestinians and the Israelis. Because if we allow our leadership to keep going like we're going, we will have a world war, the last war. And I, as a president of Canada, I stand for a ceasefire, a stand down. All hostages should be removed, all necessary humanitarian aid moving to Gaza and the West Bank immediately. Stop the bombing. Hamas got to stop their bombing, their missiles, and they got to stand down as well. And then we can finally have a true conversation about the Palestinian people, the Israeli people, and to make sure that both sides, both peoples, have equal rights under international law. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Angela, let's get back to the Ukrainian forces on the defensive. What do you think about that? You're muted.
I'm sorry. Okay. So I really don't know. I just I heard you say that they were sending more money over there. And y'all say we've been at it for almost 2 years with this Ukraine.
Yeah,
I agree with them. They should have come to some type of resolution, but for them to be still sending money over there like that, when I'm sure there's a lot of stuff over here that we need that money for, with all this, the cuts that they giving out to us for different things. I'm sure somebody else could send some money now.
Yeah, and we're not even demanding accountability for that money.
That's crazy. I mean,
yeah.
We already, stuff here is getting out of hand. Like the sizes of things are getting smaller and smaller, but the prices are going up. Yeah. It's like the prices of stuff is going up, but nobody's giving out raises on jobs. We rent going up again. We don't had this. This is the third time our rent has went up in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
it's crazy, and we can still afford to send money when we got all these people over here. You ride downtown in some of these cities, you see all these people that are sleeping on the bridges in tents. Like I get, we as America want to show that we got some kind of power by helping everybody, but we need to help our own. We really need to help our own.
I agree.
So that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Okay. Tamala, what do you say?
It's sad that we have men in leadership who say they're in leadership but don't have enough common sense or words to actually sit down and have a conversation to solve this. They want to throw money at it. They want everybody to be quiet. Don't talk about it. Let us do this. We're just gonna throw money at it. We're gonna throw money at it. Okay, what is the money doing? It has not stopped the war. What is the money doing?
Yeah.
You throwing money at it, but what's going on with the money? Like, you're wasting money. So if they can just sit down and quit talking about what we're gonna do, you know what to do. You know how to stop something if you really want to. I think a lot of people want this war to continue on, to use as an excuse of, I'm going to waste this money. Come on now, let's work together. As I have to say.
Yeah. Lamar?
Steve, thank you for having me on today. I was thinking about what are the motivations for this war, the Ukrainian war. First, it is Putin wanting to keep or regathering the Soviet Union back together. That's a fool's errand. That's not going to happen. However, we also have, he doesn't want another country to join NATO. So there's two forces there that are competing. The Ukrainian people do not want to be Russian or part of Russia, and they do want to be part of NATO. Yet and still, NATO has said you can't join us as long as you're at war with Russia. And so the U.S. has said, okay, we'll help you to end the war so you can join NATO. And that's why we're in this war at this time. So how do we help them end this war? Zelensky has already said we're not going to go ahead and concede any property or any land, same difference. So how do you get past that? How do we go ahead and say not just land, but land is life? How do you tell a person to give up their land? Now, there are persons that have had to give up their land, and there are persons whose lives have been taken from them. So I think this is a very tough situation, and I don't know why someone would call Zelensky a right winger. Maybe because he's fighting. Man's trying to save his land. Protect his people. I don't understand why they would call him, a right winger oligarch. But he was a friend to an orange idiot at one point, and now he's not. So we have to keep in mind what are the motivations at this point, and that is Putin wants Ukraine. The Ukrainians are saying no, and the Ukrainians also are saying, I want to be in NATO, and NATO says yes, but not until you're out of the war. And that's where we are.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I can't help but remember what Zelensky was before the war. He was an actor and a comedian. He played the part of a Ukrainian president on a sitcom before the war. I mean, that was what he did before the war. He played the Ukrainian president on a sitcom. So, I it's hard for me to think of him, take him seriously as a leader, I believe
Well, wait a minute. Wait. Stop for a second. Wait. I understand what you're saying about that. I saw some of his comedian show. He's funny, but also I'm running for president, and I was a comedian back in the early, not recent like him, but back in the early 2000s. But that was the only main big thing I did in my life besides doing this. But I just think that I want to add more to this with the story with Russia and Ukraine, which I draft off to Israel. Like I said, it's this argument of Russia wants the old Soviet Union back. They got to have Ukraine to be that stepping stone towards that resolve. But like what y'all said, it's a fool's errand to do that because the world's changed and we're not going backwards. But it should have been a peaceful solution drafted out by our government, by our president, since the first week of that war. And we got this mentality to think that we're the most powerful nation on earth, and we're still living back in the 90s. But that's 30 some years ago. We've changed, and I'm not saying anything about giving territory over to Ukraine. I mean, territory over to Russia from Ukraine or anything like that. But the killing's got to stop. So we got to give some. We can give all the money to Ukraine, but they're still fighting a superpower. They're still fighting nuclear power in Russia. And unless we get involved fully to stop Russia, what that means is really an all-out nuclear war, and nobody wins. That would be the only way. But the only way to avoid that is to have direct communications with the Kremlin and tell them exactly, look, we don't want to keep giving money out, but we can't allow you to keep killing these people. So what can we agree to for everybody to be at amends to agree about a peaceful solution? And that's what we got to have that conversation. I doubt President Biden has the patience or the intellect to even do that, because he hasn't lifted a finger talking about any peace for what's going on in Israel or in Russia. And that's very concerning.
All righty. And let's see what we got on the agenda next. Okay, a broken healthcare system in the United States. The tragic death by suicide of a 28-year-old emergency department nurse from Dayton, Ohio, Tristan Kate Smith, has been met with an outpouring of sympathy, grief, and anger from healthcare workers across the country. There was a widespread feeling that this was a loss of life provoked by brutal working conditions and the broken healthcare system in the United States. This was made clear in Smith's suicide note written 5 months before her death, titled "A Letter to My Abuser." In this letter, Smith describes an unsafe and hostile work environment that is the product of a for-profit healthcare system that has taken my heart and slowly crushed the goodness it had. The letter darkly ends saying, "If I stay, I will lose my sanity and possibly my life forever." This letter struck a nerve with nurses who have been understaffed for years, with many left traumatized from the devastation brought by COVID-19 waves over the last 3 years. Nurses frequently describe work environments filled with anxiety, fear, insecurity, and abuse, leading many to leave the profession and, in the most tragic cases, to take their own life. Many nurses and other healthcare workers are deeply invested in helping their community and the health of their patients, but in return for their commitment, they are abused and exploited. This is really sad. It's really uncalled for that the healthcare system they make so much money and they won't hire enough help for the nurses to do what needs to be done. Nurses are heroes to me. I mean, they're great people. I mean, they do a lot, save a lot of lives, and they work 10 times harder than the doctors do. And they take all the crap from patients, from families, and from doctors. So, I agree that they should do a whole lot better to help the nurses. It's sad that they feel so stressed and so abused that somebody would commit suicide. That's that's just uncalled for. It really is. What do you think, Lamar? You want to go first on this one?
Um, I have excellent health care. And I know that a lot of persons are not thrilled with the health care that we get. Um, I'm a vet. I have the VA, and I'm not always the best when dealing with some of the nurses, but I do appreciate them, and I do let them know that. Um, I do understand that healthcare. I believe healthcare should be a right, and everybody should have it. And with my nonprofit, once we are strong with our educational program, we're going to start looking into healthcare. Yet, as far as the story is, my heart goes out to the lady's family, and it really is sad. It's a really sad story. Um, I have over 30 years experience as a massage therapist, so this touches me because I know what it is to care for people, and and to do massage, you're dealing with people directly, hands on, and knees and elbows. Um, I just wish that somebody was there for her to hear her story, even though she wrote this 5 months before taking the action. But someone needed to hear her, and it's true. The healthcare system takes in a lot of money, and very little trickles down to the workers. And I wish this story was widely publicized by the networks and used to bring some sanity to the system, to help improve the system for the benefit of all all citizens of the US. I'm out.
Okay, Tamala.
I have a lot of family members and friends that are nurses. And before COVID, they love their job. But when COVID came, they were told they had to lie. They had to do a lot of things that was unethical. And they was like, we didn't get this, we didn't become a nurse to do all this crazy stuff that's going on right now. And so a lot of my family members, instead of working full time, they became part time because the stress is high, and the stuff that's going on that they said that they have to submit to and lie to, they said it's horrible. It's just horrible. And they are stressed out. And I'm praying for them because I don't want somebody to call me and say that one of my family members went through this because of the stress. I have my baby sister. She went from full time to part time because she's so stressed out. She ends up with real bad headaches because it's so much going on. You know, you go in that field to help people and to love on people and to make sure people are okay and get better. But then you got a system that tell you to do this and do that and lie. And these people, they're like, wait a minute, I didn't come here to lie. I didn't come here to hurt these people. I didn't come here to mistreat somebody. And so you got this monster that's growing, even though it's the medical field. And then I'm watching all these different TikToks and different social media of all these nurses, they crying. It's very stressful right now because you don't know what's going to happen next. And I have some friends that said they don't even want to be a nurse anymore. So they trying to find another profession because they are working overtime. One of my friends, she said she had the whole floor to herself. Why you got the whole floor to yourself? Because no one wants to go in that field and work. So that's stress. You try to run here and get everybody their medicine. You try to take care of the beep, beep, beep. That, whew, just talking about it, I'm stressed. So, yeah, they need help. They really do need help.
Yeah. Okay, Angela?
Yes, I'm telling you, especially the nursing field is not for everybody. I remember when the pandemic first hit, and my niece is a traveling nurse, and she was telling me how she was not used to dealing with a lot of the things that she had to deal with. And like Tamala, she wanted to walk away, but that's what she signed up for. She wanted to help people. You know, she went to school for something totally different and then decided that she wanted to be a nurse because she went to school for psychology. In the midst of working in the ER, she decided that she wanted to become a nurse. So she became a nurse because she wanted to help people. But when you look at the whole, I look at TikTok too, and I'm all the time seeing these little TikToks of different people trying to educate different people. And I oftentimes hear nurses say different things. There was a nurse that they was offering a lady a surgery. She declined the surgery. And the nurse told her she was glad that she declined the surgery because if she had taken that surgery, it would have worsened her condition. But of course, the doctor's not going to tell you that because they want you to keep coming back. When there's a lot of things that if we change how we eat, if we change different things, that we can reverse a lot of this stuff. High blood pressure, diabetes, a lot of this stuff can be reversed if we do the right thing. But do you think the doctor is telling us that? No, because of big pharma, they trying to get this money in here. So you come one time, you got to come back. You got to come back. You got to keep coming back. When they could have gave you a remedy the first two times you came. And it's all just it's just all about money, and they don't really care about the people. Don't really care about, definitely don't care about the workers, because I often hear stories like what Tamala say. You know, family members often getting upset. You know, I have a cousin that she's a hospice nurse, and there was an incident where a man wanted to shoot up the place up in Philadelphia, wanted to shoot up the place. So the extent that these people have to go to try to help people that are ill and sick. And then you look at a lot of the other countries that have good health care and offer it at free or at a very reasonable price. They don't be going through all this. We have one of the worst healthcare systems in the world, and our people stay sick because they making so much money. I truly believe when they say practice medicine, that's what they doing, practicing.
Yeah.
It's all about the dollar.
I agree. Well, something does need to change, no doubt about that. Bob?
Well, I agree with you, Steve. That's a very sad story, and it was the healthcare nurses are not appreciated like they should be, and neither are teachers. Both, two of the noblest professions out there, and they don't get treated like they should. All the frivolous lawsuits in the healthcare need to stop, though. Too, I think that's part of the reason why these costs are so high. Because you know, I mean, you know, they need to cap, some of these, awards that they give these people for malpractice. I mean, I know there's some malpractice out there, but I don't think most doctors, when they go out there, they intentionally. I mean, their first oath that they're supposed to take is to do no harm. So I think that's part of the reason why everything is so expensive are these lawsuits, and the only ones that are making any money are the lawyers and the insurance companies. And once they start making a little bit money, we can get a little more, better healthcare. That's where I would start.
Yeah, they're definitely making plenty of money.
Yeah.
All righty, Michael.
Well, I've talked extensively about the healthcare system here in America, how it's failing the American people on all sides. And first and foremost, before I continue, I want to send a special shout out to the young lady that we're talking about, to her and the family. The letter she wrote 5 months ago. I haven't heard about this, so I'm just feeling it as I'm hearing it. I think she was just warning that she's not alone. There are so many of healthcare professionals that are under a lot of stress because of greed within the healthcare system, of not hiring enough people to handle the load. We need to change our healthcare system. It needs to be overhauled like it's never been, like anything's never been overhauled before, because we will collapse, not just from the money, but from the people that can help hold the healthcare system up to care for others. That's going to collapse. But we just need we need a new start. And I do believe that healthcare shouldn't be one of those enterprises that you got to make money off somebody live and die. If it ain't right for us to have affordable, not legal, but affordable healthcare, very affordable, then it shouldn't be a right for them to make money off of us. And as president, I will talk to my health professionals and whatnot in the health fields to find cheaper ways to really combine some of our healthcare options like Medicare and Medicaid, combine it, instead of having so many different government programs, which also cuts competition and raise prices. We need more competition. That will lower prices as well. But yeah, we got to have a whole new 21st century healthcare system for America, for all Americans.
All righty.
I just really wanted to say something about.
Anything else on that one?
Yeah, I do got a question.
Okay.
So I watch a lot of TikTok, and I see a lot of comparison of our food to other people's food. And I hear people talk about how many chemicals are in our food and in the stuff that we consume here in the States. I've seen a TikTok where there's a lady that lived in a Europe country. When she visits here, she says she fasts. The whole time she's here, she fasts. She does not eat anything while she's here. They even talk about how the food tastes different, how everything is just so different. I was looking at a bag of potato chips. Somebody compared the ingredients on a bag of potato chips from a European country, and then you look at the ingredients on the bag of potato chips here in America. And then you talk about now where they are making chicken off of, like, we don't know what we eating. Like they treat us like guinea pigs, and it's just okay. Like the US the food people, USDA, they standards are terrible. Like I don't get it. And that leads to a lot of our health issues, which causes a lot of stress on the different people. It all goes back to us being healthier Americans. And I think that the government need to take a look at that and the food that they are allowing.
Yeah.
And putting on these shelves, because it's like it's more chemicals. And then you look at some of these foods. I mean, how are you putting stuff in food that may cause cancer, but then like, come on. You doing it to us.
Yeah.
Like, for real. I think they need to really take a look at the regulation that is on the food.
I agree 100%, and that's what I was talking about that in 2020. If I was president then, I would have done all that. All these foods that's grown in petri dishes, like meat and all that, we don't want to eat that. We want our food healthy and not to try to harm us later on. So
passed legislation where they're about to start doing it in California. They about to start doing it in other states. I mean, people have been showing video after video after video where food that they've been buying out of Walmart. You put it under some water and it just been falling apart. Like eggs, people been frying eggs and going through it, and it's plastic. And then they talk about all of the stuff the food that's coming out of the Dollar Tree. Most of the food that's coming out of these Dollar Trees, they say coming from overseas. And then they testing these products and testing them. Like, people are actually going in and testing them. Like, why is eggs $3 and $4 in the store, but you can go to the Dollar Tree and get eggs for $1?
But there's always hand-me-downs. When you go to those other places like Aldi's or Save-A-Lot, it's hand-me-down foods. You know what I'm saying? Something that the main stores won't sell.
Well, Aldi's is kind of different. Aldi's, they specifically get their food from Germany.
Well, I'm just naming. I don't know.
Their food is Germany. It's not that they have off brands. It's just all of their food come from the country that they started in.
But it's still second rate. It's not like first grade that you see in like Giant Eagles or Winn-Dixie's or whatever.
Some of the U.S. food, I can guarantee you run it up under the scope and run it up under the I guarantee you come out better than some of the U.S. food we get.
But I do agree with you that
my personal opinion.
I do agree with you that we do need a change from that. And as president, I will make sure that we can safely eat our foods enjoyably and without any kind of being scared about catching diseases or cancer or whatnot. But I agree with you 100%. I don't want to eat food like that.
All righty. Let's see what's on the next agenda. President Joe Biden angered Kremlin officials. President Joe Biden angered Kremlin officials by comparing Russian President Vladimir Putin to Hamas in a foreign policy address that drew a parallel between their respective objectives in Ukraine and Israel. We do not accept such a tone towards Russia and toward our president, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Friday, per Russian state media. Biden suggested the Hamas terrorist attack that ignited Israel's war in Gaza echoes Putin's attempt to overthrow the Ukrainian government. Hamas and Putin represent different threats, but they share this in common. They both want to completely annihilate a neighboring democracy, completely annihilate it, Biden said. Hamas' stated purpose for existing is the destruction of the state of Israel and the murder of Jewish people. Meanwhile, Putin denies Ukraine has or ever had real statehood. He claims the Soviet Union created Ukraine. Yeah, our president has really pissed off the Russians, and I hate that, That's all we need is another reason for Putin to go crazy. But, he's just like Hamas and just like Netanyahu and Jin Xiaoping or whatever his name is, and they don't care about people. They just care about power and money. That's it. It's power and money. So it's no surprise to me that Biden said something to tick him off. What do you think, Tamara?
I'm like this. Here you are. You're supposed to be bringing peace. You said that you want peace. You said that you want this war to stop. And yet, what is your motive? What was your goal to start this? Because all it takes is your tongue to say something, to push a button. So, was your goal to bring peace, or was your goal to come on, y'all? Let's excite. Let's really get upset. I mean, what was your goal, Biden? I just want to know. Like, it don't make any sense. It's like you want to make everybody mad so you can. This is my reason why I have to still send money over there, everybody. You see, because he don't want to get rid of the war. He wants to just waste money. It's ridiculous. It don't make any sense. So I'm looking at it as what was the motive and what was the purpose? Because if you're going to do that, then what else you going to say next? It just don't make any sense to me. And so what if you want to compare him to that those people? Okay, what is the solution? Did you have a solution? Did you tell us what the step 2 gonna be? No. So you just left it like there to make people mad and angry. Well, that's all I'd say.
Okay. Angela?
And I must agree. Sometimes if you don't have something nice to say, then you just need to keep it shut. I mean, just being honest. I mean, here we are trying to get peace. We trying to bring peace, and yet you just adding what? Fire to the flames, or whatever, gas to the fire, or whatever they call it. I mean, you just add unnecessary stuff to it. You just putting on more when we trying to get to like sometimes you just need to be quiet, and I'm just gonna be quiet on that note.
Okay. Bob?
I don't know. I don't think these days it takes much to piss off Putin, as far as we're concerned. I think he's pissed off already. And maybe it's I don't know. I'm gonna be like Angela, and I'll keep mine shut too on this one because I really don't know much about it. But I think that probably both sides have a lot to be pissed off about.
Yeah. There's a lot of pissed off people around the world these days, huh?
Well, they should take all that pissed off energy and try to come to a resolution instead of just keep being pissed off. Because what my mama used to tell me when I was being pissed off is like pissing on yourself. Don't nobody feel that but you. So sit down and come to some kind of resolution. Sometimes we got to be grown about something, and they not doing that.
Yeah. Michael?
Well, this is the main reason why 60 to 70% of Democrats and independents don't want Joe Biden to run again, because he has a cavalier attitude with his mouth. It just runs. And when you're the president of the most powerful country in the world, when the world's at edge of war, name calling people is the last thing you should do. Again, he's got the energy and the brass and the intelligence or the wisdom he says he has, because an older president should remain, for him to be president, he should remain president because of his wisdom. But the wisdom didn't come into play by running your mouth. Shut your mouth. We're doing our best to make sure that it doesn't transcends from with Russia and Ukraine and then try to attack us even further. And China's looking at us, and Iran and North Korea. I mean, if this is the attitude that our president has, without having a moral center of knowing how to shut up and not name call people, then we need a new leader. And hello, because I know how to relate with people and break down disagreements with people and not name call. I would never see myself as president to name call any adversary or anybody. no matter what wrong they've done, because we stand the moral high ground to try to bring peace to this world. And the lacking of that type of leadership is what we're lacking right now. We need a new change. And that's it. That's just what we see right now. We need a change. We don't want Joe Biden. We don't want Donald Trump. We don't want none of these people that's already who ran before under the banner of Trump, and now with Joe Kennedy or John Kennedy or whatever, Robert Kennedy, excuse me. They're. We clearly got to have a new player in the game, and Landon is it. Hopefully.
Thanks, Michael. Lamar?
I was looking at this article and going to what's highlighted. Excuse me. And what stands out to me is the statement: Hamas's stated purpose for existing is the destruction of the state of Israel and the murder of Jewish people. And I wonder why that is. And I've covered this statement past, couple weeks. But why do they want to destroy the state of Israel? And I think that goes back to what is happening. Israel is stealing the Palestinian land. If they were not taking their land, there would not be Hamas. So, what's the reason for Putin? Maybe if there was still a Soviet Union, there would not be a Putin, which is, algebra and politics. But the fact is, right now, what we see on the news about this buildup of Israeli armament is overkill. And when you listen to what Netanyahu and all of what the Israelis are talking about is, we're going to destroy the Palestinians and wipe them out. This is genocide. This is going back to Herzegovina, and then only thing the U.S. keeps saying is we support Israel. This is one of the dumbest things we could do, but then we created this war. If we step back and look in the mirror, we have to realize that we started this back in 1947 or 42. We created this, and we continue to propagate the Israelis in this. I listen to them on the news every morning, and their statement is, if you support the Palestinians, then you support the killing of the Jews. I've never said that. And I'm not saying to go out and kill Jews. I'm not saying to go out and kill Muslims. I'm simply saying that the Jewish people are stealing Palestinian land every single day. And if they would stop, there would be no fuel to the fire for Hamas to even exist.
Yep.
And when you look at the amount of warfare or war tanks and as such that the Israelis have, that's just way too much compared to the rocks and sticks that the Palestinian people have. It just makes no sense. And to look and see that the Palestinians literally have nowhere to go, And now Netanyahu is telling other countries to stay out of it. These other countries are also Palestinians, trying to help Palestinians who are locked out of their own country. This is madness. And the U.S. is to continue to support a people that are committing genocide. We need to have our own heads looked at, and the people in our own country who go around talking about, I support Israel and all that it does. That sounds like the idiot who's the governor of my state or my adopted state. But then look at the rest of the people who are part of the GOP. You know, they're talking about supporting Russia. You know, a bunch of terrorist people themselves. But we literally need to know the history about the wars and the factions that we support and their motivations. And this war in the Middle East is basically caused by actions that the U.S. started. I yield my time.
All right.
And may I just add one thing to this formula? I put out a post on Facebook earlier today, and I said that pertaining to Benjamin Netanyahu, I don't trust him. I don't think that we should blame all of the Jewish people of what's going on, of like taking settlements or whatnot, because of the lie they've been told about their leadership, from their leadership. And since not too long ago, there was a big riots in Israel about Benjamin Netanyahu trying to take power, consolidate power, because he was in trouble of corruption. And that type of person who is just like when Trump was president, he was, about corruption. He was trying to take power and keep power and would start a war to keep power. So almost that's what Benjamin Netanyahu did. I don't trust anybody who's that corrupt. And to keep power the way he did, the only way how he would have kept power was to allow a war to start, was to allow a false flag operation to happen in Israel. And here's my question. Well, not a question, it's a statement. This is what I said earlier. As candidate for president, I do stand with the people of Israel and with Palestinians, but I do not stand with their leadership. And I ask that all sides, even our leadership, step up and demand a ceasefire, a stand down, or whatever you want to call it. And you can go after Hamas, you can kill them all, but the best way to do that is to solve the issues of the Palestinian people. You give those people the basic freedoms, basic dignity, then, like you said earlier, Lamar, Hamas will lose the power that they had to step in there and try to create positions for that to come out to fruition for all Palestinian people. But we as Americans need to step up and say enough is enough. Do not go into Israel. Do not bomb West Bank, which they're doing right now. And definitely I would communicate with the Palestinian Authority to get in contact with Hamas to tell them to stand down. If they stand down, Israel stands down, the hostages will be released. But if that happens that way, Benjamin Netanyahu, when it comes to peace, he'll start losing power. As soon as the war is over, he's done. So everybody is aware of that. But it's not the people we should blame. The actions of the leadership, it's the leadership that's to blame. Yeah. Because I think Jewish people and Palestinian people have lived in peace for a long time in certain areas around Israel. So the people want peace. It's just the leadership are living too much in the past that can't see peace, clearly. They can't see it.
Yeah, and let's don't forget this is turning into a Muslim-Jewish war also. And if that continues to happen, that's going to be really, really horrible. There are a lot of Muslims in the world, and they do stick together.
No, and they should, but at the same time, it's just that I can see that I don't trust Benjamin Netanyahu, so I can see he's just pushing, like he's bombing Syria, he's bombing Lebanon, he's He's got the king of Jordan, Egypt pissed off. It's a plan, a systematic plan of wherever in Benjamin's mind that he sees, like he wants to get rid of all the Palestinians and take Israel as a whole, nothing but the Jews, and then try to take the other territories as well by weakening them and make that as an excuse to say, you for the Palestinians, you're against us, so we're at war with you. And this one politician, I don't know who this guy is. He's from Israel. You can look at these people. You can look at them. The politicians, not the people. And he's attacking somebody from RT, Russia Today media, and was saying, you're going to be to blame. You helped Hamas. You want Hamas to kill Jews. And that's how he sounds. So I ain't trying to make fun of the right sound. And you will pay a price, Russia. We will win this war. We will win it, and we're coming after you. And I'm like, oh my God. You can't be a victim and then say, look, we're going to start war with you too. It's the leadership is the problem, not the people. I just want to clarify that. So a lot of people get confused and everybody get blamed because we're standing for Palestine and some people stand for the Jews, and either you stand for either one, you're attacking the other group. But it's the leadership we need to go after on both sides. That's the problem.
Exactly. All righty. Next on the list, 2 American hostages released. Fox News has independently confirmed to the 2 American nationals held captive by Hamas have been released. The source with knowledge of the release confirmed to Fox News that the 2 American hostages, a mother and her daughter, were released on humanitarian grounds following Qatari mediation efforts. They were identified as Judith and Natalie Renan, who originally were taken by Hamas from the Nahal Oz Kibbutz in southern Israel near the Gaza Strip. The source tells Fox News the hostages are now in the care of the Red Cross. As of Friday morning, there were 11 Americans unaccounted for since Hamas launched its war against Israel on October 7th. Now, this was from Friday, so there may be, I'm sure there's a lot more dead and unaccounted for now on both sides. But I'm glad these 2 people were released. Obviously, I'm glad of that. But I wonder, as a lot of other people do, why these 2 and why now? Why among all the Americans taken hostage did they release these 2 and why now? And they don't have any idea, and so far nobody I've heard has any idea. It makes no sense to me, but I am glad that they're free. So I will say that. Michael, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I thought you said Bob. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know which one. Did you call Bob or me? I'm sorry.
I said Michael.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Michael.
All right. Yeah, let me right quick. I was happy to hear that those hostages of ours were released. Early on during the war, I reached out to some connects that I have in Israel because I'll be talking to some people from the West Bank, and I did a video on my page. I'm not saying it has something to do with me, but I mentioned the best thing for y'all to do is to release the hostages. I mean, all of them. I mean, my guesstimation is why they would have released just the 2 American hostages and no one else is because they see that, America's power in the region is there in the region. And I guess they were trying to send some kind of signal is like to us, like, yeah, look, here's your Americans back, but can you tell Israel to stop bombing the hell out of us? I think that'd be one kind of, I think after when President Biden left Israel, I know that the president of the Palestinian Authority didn't want to talk to him. I don't know if they're in communications with the Palestinian Authority. I don't know what's going on there, but I think if they're not, I think President Biden should open up more communications directly to the Palestinian Authority, also Hamas, and to try to find a way to ceasefire and to get rid of to release all the hostages at the same time. If that's their motive, if that's the reason why they did it, I think that's what they were trying to send a signal to our government to do such a thing, to intervene and to let Israel know to stand down and not to go into Gaza. Because if you go into Gaza and there are other hostages there and you don't know where they're at, you're going to kill the hostages as well. And so therefore, I just think that negotiation is the key. Everybody wants to negotiate. It's just the leadership that just want to fight because they got something to prove or something, some old idea back in the day, which that's back in the day. We're about the here and the now. And what tells us is that everybody in the world wants peace. And but just going in there bombing the hell out of people just to think you're going to save people. No, you go kill them. You go kill everybody. You're going to make yourselves look very bad in front of the eyes of the world. It doesn't matter if it's Russians or whatever thing like that. But for us as Americans and seeing an atrocity there and we don't step up to say anything and to do more, because usually back then, if Reagan was president or somebody else, this wouldn't even gone this far. Actually, I mean, no, it would have, not like this, but the attack would never happen. That's number one. That was allowed. That's what I believe it was allowed. They knew what was going to happen. And all this is going on right here, just failure of leadership and of intelligence. And that is on purpose.
Yeah. All righty. Bob?
Yeah, that story seemed to come out of nowhere. And it, I don't know. And it seems like there's not enough meat on those bones. Like, you know, what's the motives and how did it happen and what's the end game? I don't know. There's not much information there to go on. But I'm glad they're out and hopefully more will get out. You know, it's always a good thing when you can get a hostage released. Yeah. And yeah. So I'm going to leave it there though, and I have to go. So I'll see you guys next time. Okay.
Okay, Bob. Take care, brother.
Great business, Bob.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Take care, Bob.
Angela?
Well, I just have to say that I'm glad that they were released. I don't know. I don't know a lot about this story, so I'm just not going. But I'm glad they were released. But again, I don't know why they wouldn't release everybody. But
yeah,
I'm glad they are free.
Yeah.
And prayerfully, the other ones will be released as well. So hopefully they'll get what they need so that the rest of them can come home safely.
Yeah.
Or go to their homes, wherever they may be. It's sad. But that's all I have to say.
Lamar?
I actually agree with Bob. There's not a lot of meat to this story. It's pretty cut clear, I believe, with what you had mentioned, Steve, that it's pretty straightforward. You know, there wasn't much said after this much information was given. So only thing I can do is agree with what you had said and what Bob had said, and that's it. That's all I have.
Okay. Tamala?
I agree with everyone.
Okay. All righty. What's next? Now this is a strange story here. Dying man gets pig heart. It's been a month since a Maryland man became the second person to receive a transplanted heart from a pig. And hospital video released Friday shows he's working hard to recover. Lawrence Fawcett was dying from heart failure and ineligible for a traditional heart transplant because of other health problems when doctors at the University of Maryland School of Medicine offered the highly experimental surgery. Attempts at animal to human organ transplants called xenotransplants have failed for decades, as people's immune systems immediately destroy the foreign tissue. Now scientists are trying again using pigs genetically modified to make their organs more human-like. In Friday's hospital video, Fawcett's doctor said the pig heart has shown no sign of rejection. This reminds me of Dr. Frankenstein. I mean, this, they've tried so many times in the past to use animal parts in people and it don't work. And now, a pig, I don't know. I don't even know. The whole idea of this seems really, really bizarre to me. So I don't know. What do you think, Tamala? You want to go first on this one?
I think doctors and scientists, they're going to continue on to see which animal is compatible to humans, because we have a lot of people who would love to, donate their organs when they leave here, but some of them can't because maybe their organs have been damaged through whatever. And then you have people who say, I'm not going to donate my organs when I leave here. So when it comes to transplants, a lot of people have been waiting for years. So they're going to continue on with this. We can sit here and turn all different kind of colors of the rainbow and say this should not, they should not do this and they shouldn't do that. But the scientists, they're going to figure out which animal is compatible. And when they find out, until then, we're going to be guinea pigs. They're going to use all different kinds, cats, dogs, chicken, something. They're going to use something to figure out which one will help us grow. But I thought they said they was going to use the stem cells to help regrow brains and regrow hearts and regrow livers. That's what they was talking about. But now I guess they're not talking about the stem cells anymore. So yeah, this is crazy right here.
And they have had some successful stem cell transplants, because I know someone that has had one. Even though she had to learn how to do everything all over again, but I don't get it either. They I'm like you. They gonna figure out which animal is closely genetically to us. They gonna do that. But I don't know. I don't know.
If
I
that's
just
the
don't
case,
know.
it seems to me like the closest would be an ape or a chimpanzee, something like that.
So
Yeah,
they say.
who knows?
But
I,
who knows? But I'm go back to what happened to the stem cell, the cell, the stem cells that they were. I mean, because we have had some successful cases. There's a young lady I know out of South Carolina, Rock Hill, South Carolina. She had her first kidney transplant at age 9. Her mother donated a kidney. She had her second kidney transplant. I want to say around age 27, and then from all of the different medications that she was on for her kidneys, she developed a cancer, and they used the stem cells to treat the cancer. She's currently in remission, but I remember her saying, I actually did an interview with her, and she talked about how she had to learn how to walk again. She had to learn how to do a whole lot of stuff over again. But yeah, she's doing a whole lot better. She's a guidance counselor at one of the schools in Rock Hill, and she's doing really good. So that is a successful case.
yeah.
So I don't know why they would continue to use animals when they could use your own cells to recreate.
I believe they just like
But
to,
I don't know.
you know.
That's all I got to say about that.
All right. Lamar?
I got no interest. I got no interest in this.
Okay.
They're using pigs, what happened to plastic? You know, I have no interest in this.
All right. Michael?
Yeah, this one it just reminds me about a parable in the Bible about the pigs. About Jesus had took demonic spirits from this one guy, and he said, "Toss me into those pigs and leave me be," or something like that. So that's the only thing I can remind myself with that. I mean, why put a heart of a pig in the human body? That's the only two things connect. When that came up, I know it has, they're not the same. It just, that's the only thing that connects me to that. Just I wouldn't agree to that. I wouldn't do that. But that's up to that person. If it works, it works. It just, the stem cell technology, it works. I mean, I heard about, because I'm supposed to be having knee replacement surgery in the next 10 years. And, but they said somebody who had stem cells in on the knee or whatever, they re-heal their knee. So that would be the future, and all these archaic ideas should be left in the past. That's all I got to say.
All righty. Okay. Here's one. Water, food, fuel, medicine, and essential goods and services needed. The United Nations says the lives of at least 120 newborn babies in incubators in Gaza's hospitals are at risk as fuel runs out in the Palestinian enclave. Renewed Israel blockading the wake of October 7 deadly Hamas attack in Israel. Besides the urgent need for fuel, UNICEF's Executive Director Catherine Russell also called for sustained humanitarian access in Gaza. She noted that the UN agency was able to send only about 44,000 bottles of drinking water to Gaza through the Rafah crossing and no fuel. With 1 million children in Gaza now facing a critical protection and humanitarian crisis, the delivery of water is a matter of life or death. Every minute counts, Russell said. This first limited water will save lives, but the needs are immediate and immense, not just for water, but for food, fuel, medicine, essential goods, and services, Russell added. Yeah, this right here has really gotten to the emergency status. They need so much in Gaza, in the hospitals, Netanyahu was telling them to evacuate the hospitals. How do you evacuate hospitals with thousands of people there and dying and laying all over the place? Some of them in the floor. I just nowhere to put them. So, this is beyond insane. It just makes me really, really angry. So you want to go first on this, and Bob? Michael.
Yeah, how I said, like I said, I don't trust Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't see any humanity in him. I just see blind rage that he always had for the Palestinian people. And I believe that they should bring more water, food, fuel into Gaza. Their excuse, the Israelis and our government's excuse is we didn't say that, but we heard it. But Israel's excuse saying that if we send all that material in there, Hamas is going to grab it and take it away from the people. And well, hell, my question is, if you know that, how come you didn't know about the attack on October 7th that started this whole damn thing? Hello, come on, man. So let the supplies come in with the people there in need. The hospital should not be evacuated. You don't tell the people to evacuate their hometowns or homelands or whatever. because you want to blow something up because you allowed an attack to happen, just to justify your attack on them. That's what's currently going on. And when the story breaks about this, it's going to hit this world. It's going to hit our country like never before. And we're going to all be paying the penalty over that if we don't step up and show real humanity. They don't give a damn about you're Jewish, you're Muslim, you're a human being. And any normal leader, regular, real leader, no matter if you're attacked or not, you got to look at that the leadership and the people are two separate entities. Because you got one side of the people that support Hamas, the rest of the Palestinians did not. But Benjamin Netanyahu helped support Hamas in the early 2000s. Like I said, look it up. Look it up. So not one day, not 1 hour, not 1 minute that these people should be deprived of water, food, and medical supplies for the people that are being killed and injured. We have to do that. Now, you can still go after the people who attacked you, which is pretty much yourself. Or you can continue to just paint a whole brush of everybody in the Palestinian of the Palestinian people that they're all to blame for it. But I think America needs to step up and not allow Israel to go into Gaza, because regardless of the materials that they're sending in there now, the little bit of, they're going to go in there and just trash more and just bomb everything that was given. You know what I'm saying? Until there's a ceasefire and a peaceful means to talk out about the troubles of the Palestinian people and the Israelis and find a way to open up avenues of equilibrium, of respect of both sides. So until that, I just think giving all this stuff here, which they need it, but if Israel's going to go in there anyway and bomb the hell out of the new resources that they get now, it's just an oxymoron to me.
All right. Angela? You're muted.
What was it that they need? They wanted to give them water. They wanted to give them essentials, and somebody don't want them to have it. What is it? I didn't read this last one because
Israel was saying that giving supplies to the Palestinians, that Hamas would take those supplies, and that's why Israel's saying we shouldn't give them supplies. That's bullcrap.
But they need the supplies, but they don't want to give them to them because they think somebody's gonna take it from them.
That's an excuse.
That's just like us giving a panhandler money and then saying, well, he may go off and what else? You
buy some beer, buy some drugs. Right. That's
so
the main thing.
You trying to make sure that they are okay. Now, what they do with it, that's on them. You provide for them, and you give it to them. If they come in and if they let somebody come in and take it from them, then that's on them. Afterward, but you did what you were supposed to do, provide it for them.
But it's not Israel giving it. It was Egypt and America, and not Israel. Israel is not going to give a damn thing to the Palestinian people. They want to block. They want to kill. They want to strangle these people. Now, I'm talking about the leadership, not the Jewish people. But yeah, it's just the leadership. He's terrible.
I just feel like these people, if they in need, they need to give what is needed, because these people, the people is not causing all this. It's these people that's in leadership that's causing all this foolishness. Yeah. So why do people have to suffer because of the people at the top? It's always the person at the bottom that suffers the most, because these people and they struggle for power and money.
Corrupt people. Let's make sure we corrupt people.
And that's what's a lot of that going around right now.
Yeah.
Coming from
a lot of that going around.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't say that.
But there's a lot of that going around right now.
You're right.
A lot of it going hitting here in the States too. Because that's a whole nother story. But I get to talking about Texas, because Texas is one of the corrupt states in the United States of America.
Yeah. Look at
Don't
them.
forget Florida.
Oh, Florida,
No,
Texas.
Texas got them all beat hands down. Texas got them all beat.
Well, they think they should secede from the union, so they think they're on their own country. Love Texas.
They really do. You can't tell them nothing. And that's a lot of these people mentality. That's their mentality. They don't want to hear nothing.
But they want to tell us what we should do to live our lives like them. Amazing.
But
Amazing.
I feel like if they in need, they need to give it to them. Don't make the people suffer.
Exactly.
Don't make the people suffer.
Exactly.
Don't make the people suffer. And that's my stand on that. Don't make the people suffer.
All righty. Lamar?
Well, I agree with what Michael was saying earlier. You know, the U.S. should stay out of it and stop the Israelis and basically make sure that the aid gets in there to the people, but definitely do not start or raise the pain of this war any further. It should not be escalated. I'm sorry. It should not escalate any further. And the U.S. needs to stop it. Stop it right here and now. And
We
the
can stop it
US
tomorrow.
can do it because, right, it's the U.S.'s fault. It's the U.S.'s fault. And that's all I have to say about it.
Okay, Tamala?
1 million children. I mean, you got to be a cold-blooded, heartless person. Cold-blooded. You gonna hurt a child? You that cold? You don't care if the child don't get their food? I mean, you is cold, just cold-blooded. And then you got people protesting and getting mad and upset. Down around the corner from where I live is all Jews. It's different kind of Jews. So they'll tell you in a minute, I'm not like them. Okay. But on Saturdays, everybody see them walk up and down to the different synagogues. Ever since this has happened, now not only we see the Jews walk up down the street, now we see the Hebrew Israelites out and the Muslims. 3 different groups on my street, walking up and down, saying that they are right. And when Steve, you said something earlier, I wish I had wrote it down. If we don't get this under control, these 3 groups, they're gonna have a war within themselves because each group said that they are right. And you can't even drive up and down the street because the Hebrew Israelites are in the street putting pamphlets in people's cars and saying, support me, we are right. You see what's going on over there. And then you go down the street, you got the Muslims in the street. So if we don't hurry up and get this together, yeah, it's going to be a war in our own neighborhood. We don't have to worry about what's going on over there. It's going to be right on our street. Because I see it right now. They walking up down the street mad and upset.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
I seen on the news where some rabbi got murdered. Did y'all see that? I forget what state it was in. It was here in America. So that's the kind of things going to be happening. You know, like you say, there's a lot of people upset. A lot of people hate the Jews anyway. A lot of people hate the Palestinians, Muslims, and you know, there's just a lot of that going around, and it can get a lot worse, and it probably will if this goes on much longer. You know,
The people that are benefiting over this is just Benjamin Netanyahu because he was afraid to lose power. His whole mentality of having Israel as all Jewish and get rid of the Palestinians. Deep down, that's what he believes. Deep down, he also believes that there was a video that years ago he's mentioned. I think when Bush was president. I think when Bush was Bush Jr. was president, And he said he's got America wrapped around his finger. Like whatever he says America to do, America will jump. No matter if it's a lie or the truth. And we see now that out of all out of all the 3 years that Joe Biden's been president, when have you ever seen him do press conferences all in one day? Those many, especially on Air Force One. The last time we saw a president on Air Force One did something like a press conference like that was Trump asking about the Stormy Daniels thing. So he's telling them what to do, but President Biden also knows. He knows that Benjamin Netanyahu is corrupt. He knows, but the whole system of how we have politicians and whatnot that are pro-Israel, the right wing of the Israeli movement, not the left or the center or the middle of the Israeli people, but the government, the leadership on the right. That's what they support. They don't give a damn about anybody else, because if they did, they would have stepped up during the whole riot situation during the summer in Israel when they were trying to take their democracy away. Nobody in America stood up for that. But now the far right groups in the Israeli government has all that power. They're on a war footing. They ain't got to listen to not a damn. They ain't got to listen to us, because I mean, if you got Joe Biden, no, why you gonna listen? Why listen to us? They got him. And he believes, and he knows that. And without saying, I think I said too much already. Who cares? Point is, it needs to change. We got to stop being afraid to do what is right. And President Biden, I don't give a damn what he, been said or not said to do this or not do that. You got to get that old way of thinking. If we can't treat all of ourselves as human beings, and we attack and allow children to die and all that, and we support that, in the end, we will become the enemy. We will become worse than any damn thing else on this planet. But unless we step up and tell the real truths, that's when we can save Israel, we can save the Palestinians, we can get rid of this far right ideology, the thing that one is better than the other. And it's going to take new leadership. Joe Biden doesn't have the answers.
I agree with you there. He definitely doesn't have the answers.
So why if he doesn't have the answers, why the hell does he want to run for president again? He's old as hell. Go relax and do whatever you do, and leave the young generation to take care of your mess.
It's an ego thing now between Trump and Biden.
Especially Biden.
Other enough they're not going to let the other one win. So
Biden has definitely got an ego trip. When Biden said that you're not black if you don't vote for me, that right there, the ceiling is the limit. When his wife,
he said what now?
When he said to Charmaine the God during the election, 2020 election, Joe Biden said to Charmaine the God, "You're not black if you don't vote for me." I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Sniff, sniff. Wait a minute. What the hell did he just say? So I'm like, well, no. So I seen the ceiling with this guy, his wife. I don't mean to bring his wife into it, but she's, your partner, joined at the hip. I always felt something weird about her. Like she's like, thinking like Joe, and like the white race is the main race. And she did this thing during the college basketball tournament this year. Remember the women's basketball college basketball tournament when LSU? Oh, you know where I'm going to go. Where LSU won, and then she said, "Well, what about Duke? I would like Duke to come to the White House with the LSU players." I'm like, wait a minute. When you ever seen losers?
It was
go
Iowa.
to the damn White House?
It was Iowa. It was the team that they beat.
Iowa. That's right.
LSU beat Iowa, and they
Right.
wanted Caitlin to come because she,
Right.
Angel, had did
Right.
this to Caitlin, but Caitlin been doing it all year long. Been all
See.
up, and that's been her signature move from
See.
taking it from Don, that Cena guy, and that's what she been doing all season long. But when Angel do it back to him, when they win,
it's red alert! Red alert!
They feel like special that they need to show sportsmanship and allow the losing team to come too. When have y'all
Wait. Let me ask this question. If that was so, let's just say in the reality we allow that to happen, right? Now let's flip the reality and say Iowa won, but LSU lost. Will Jill Biden ask? Well, since Iowa won, since Iowa won, Can we let LSU come to
No,
the White House to stay laws? You know
it's
damn
never
well she's
happened
not going to
before.
say that.
So why would we think that's gonna happen now? That has never happened. You have invited the losing team. It's always been the winning team, not
Wait.
the second runner up.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Jill and Joe Biden. What is in their hearts and what's in their minds about us universally. And from my story and what you see about Jill, we see him with his actions overseas. He's got to go. They all got to. Kamala, she need to go herself too. She's confused. She's so damn confused. Let me talk about Kamala for a minute. Kamala Harris seems like a young girl that just went to Disneyland for the first time, and she's still in Disneyland, but she's still walking there like it's her first time. Like, wow, I'm president. Wow, she doesn't have no oomph. She doesn't have any spirit. She doesn't have any grit to really. Don't get me wrong. She's a prof. She done amazing things, like dating Montel Williams, and dating the governor of California one time, I think, right? And got power that way. But whatever, I just don't trust neither one of them. So I mean, and the American experiment, what's going on now? They're killing it because they don't want new people, new ideas to come out, and they're blocking us from telling the truth. But let me tell you something: nobody blocks me. After what happened to me, I don't give a damn. Joe Biden, Jill Biden, Donald Trump, Melania Trump. I don't give a damn who you are. You got to go because America's not going to put up with it, and the world can't afford the lack of leadership that we're facing right now. Not even have a president.
All right. Well, we've covered all of our topics, so that's good. That's good. So let's talk about what we got going on kind of thing. I've heard Angela talk so much about Linktree. I started me a Linktree, so.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, you can put all your little stuff right there in one spot. So when people are looking for you, they can go over and then they can just scroll down. I'm sure if you check mine, I got so much on there. You can just go over there and just go to the different things. So I don't have to tell everybody everywhere I am. You just go to Linktree and you'll see where I am. I'm in a lot of places, and you can just click and you can just scroll and you can just check me out. I got tired of telling everybody to go to this site, go to this site, go to this site, go to this site. It's all right there. Go to Linktree, Queen of Collaborations. Check me out. Get an opportunity to check out some of my books, some of my whatever I got going on. It's all listed. Just get to know me.
There you go. Pamela?
Well, I try to do a Linktree. Mine's disappear. I don't know what I'll be doing. I did something wrong. But I'm gonna keep on trying. But my ministry is called Come Home, Stop Talking About It. And it's an outreach ministry, so we just try to help people the best way we can. And also it's a podcast, so those who have testimony, who wants to preach the word, you can come on there, and the door is open. It is free. You know, some people, they'll charge you to talk. It's like, but that's my story, and you can charge me to tell my own story. But anyway, they do charge you. But you can come on my podcast and, you know, tell your story, because everybody has a testimony. You have overcome something. I'm also an author. I have different books on Amazon for adults, for children, for everybody, all shapes and sizes. And I am a gospel singer, gospel songwriter. I have one single out, when I was nothing, God loved me. Thank you for your support, and thank you, Steve, for allowing me to be here.
All right. Lamar?
Thank you, Steve. I am Lamar Callahan. I am the founder of Supporting Africans Corp. Our current program is tutoring. We provide live online tutoring for children and adults worldwide for $5 an hour. And we help, the backbone of our service are our tutors, who are teachers, experienced teachers from around the world. They are sorry, brain dead. I'm just thinking about all the different subjects we've talked about. really good show and just really good topics. So I'm just still thinking about that. But our service helps to provide subjects between accounting and yoga from preschool to pre-K to college prep. We have 30 different language classes, accounting, computers, finances, mental health, social media. Wow. I'll leave it there. We have well over 100 classes. So if there's a class that you're thinking about, we may already have it. So if we can help you, just come to TUTORSFORYOU.org or give us a call at 813-743-3273. Operator standing by.
All right.
And have a good night.
Did you say all you wanted to say, Michael?
Let me just start from the beginning. First of all, Steve, thank you for allowing me to be on your show. I'd like to thank all the panelists on. We had a great discussion, mind-opening. Hopefully, it will change the world, which it will. My name is Michael D. Landingham. It's like landing the plane and going ham for America. I am your presidential candidate for the year 2024 of these United States of America, the people's candidate for the people's justice. I have a unique story where never before in our history where a former president threatened a presidential candidate with military assets and tried to cover it up leading up to now, the 2024 election. I have actively a $2 billion civil lawsuit against the Justice Department for their failure for investigating the ongoing threats from the former President Donald J. Trump. And I will win it. And I'm going to use that money to run straight to that White House with the people's backing. Because we need new, strong leadership in America that can bring justice for all, without delay and without fear. And hopefully I have your vote. And how to look me up? I'm on, just Google my name, Michael D. Landingham for president. You see me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, the other chat, the @chat, this chat, whatever chat. Just find me to contact me to my campaign. Phone number will be area code 216-703-2177. You can call me sun up, sundown. Doesn't really matter because we need to save our democracy, and Landingham for president is the key to do it. Thank you for your time, and God bless the United States of America and the free world.
All right. Thank you all for doing what you do, and thank you all for being here. I was glad to have you. And anybody watching, I did get a link tree set up. So there's my link tree thing, and I've got, I think, about 14 or 15 links on it. I'm like Angela, I'm all over the internet. I can't even remember where all I am. So anyway, thanks to everybody for what you do. Thanks for being here. Y'all have a wonderful night. Hope to see you again soon. And all you people watching, thanks for joining into the night crew, and have a great week. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Good night.